Okay, students, lesson 108. Hope you have your thinking caps on this morning because we have a lesson. I don't want to call it difficult because that's discouraging, but it's one that's intense. And if you'll stay with me, we'll get through it. We have 7, 8, 9, and 10 are the new problems, and we'll work through those. First off, I'll give you a couple of the ones that we've done in previous lessons. I thought they might be a little bit difficult for you, but number 2, the gun sounded. Sounds like a race. Gun sounded, and 3 hours later, one was 6 miles ahead of the other one. That's a distance problem. We do our distance. Okay, they both took off at the same time, and when we are taking the formula here, it says that one was 6 miles ahead of the other one. So, otherwise, they were running, and here's one of them, and the other was back behind the other one by 6 miles. Okay, so we have distance of Bill. He was ahead of Rose. Distance of Rose. Here we go then. We got looks to me like an RT equals RT, but we have to add 6 to this one to make it equal. And this was Bill. And this was Rose. Both of them had the same amount of time when the gun sounded, and 3 hours later. So they both had 3 hours. Time. And it says that Bill's speed was 10 miles an hour. So now we have the 1, 2, 3 that we need of the 4 to solve these. These are side by side, so we will multiply those. That would be 30 equals RR 3 plus 6. If you don't mind, I'm going to change this RR3 to 3RR. 3RR. Okay, we combine the 30 and the 6. That would be 24 equals 3RR. Put the 3 underneath it here. Looks to me like the speed of Rose this equals 8. And I think that's miles per hour. Is that correct? That is correct. Miles per hour. Okay, there we go on that one. That was numbers 2. Number 6. Here we have a weighted scores. The final exam grade of 94 was given the weight of 10 weekly grades. So we can go 94 times 10. And then there were how many lessons? There were 10 weekly grades at 76. So there we go, times 10 of those. Do your math. 94 times 10 would be 940. 76 times 10 is 760. 0, 0, 8. No, 1700. 1700. And there were 10 total. 10 and 10 is 20, so we have 20. 1,700 divided by 20. We want a practical answer now. 1,700 divided by 20 equals 85. Does 85 come somewhere in the middle of this? It surely does. And also I see here that because both of these were actually 10 and 10, we could have taken the 94 plus 76 divided by 2. I suppose that'd be the same answer. 94 plus 76 divided by 2 equals, again, 85. So 85 is your score, 85%. That was number 6. Number 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now are the new ones, and there's some intenseness about this. I really want you to pay attention. We're going to skip 7 because it's the most difficult. 8 is the easiest one. We'll start off on that one. In life, always get your easy stuff done first. Is that right? That is not true. Equals x negative 3. We're going to put the negative 4 on the other side, which is a positive 4. Correct? Okay. Now, what you learn in equations, whatever you do on one side, you can do on another. We want to get rid of this square root sign. Here's what we can do to get rid of it. We can do, again, I did this on this side, then I must do the exact same thing on the other side. That's always true about equations. So I squared this and squared this. this is easy. 4 times 4 is 16. What is the square root? What is the square of x negative 3? Well, I'm going to show you what the truth is, and then I'm going to show you why. X negative 3 is actually the square of that. Why is that true? Let's try this. So if we had a square root of 16 and it equals 4, here's what we're going to do. We're going to square both of those. And right here, just like we did up here. Again, this has nothing to do with this problem more than just showing you why the concept is true, what we did here. 4 times 4 is 16, and the square root of 4 times, the square root of 4 times the square root of 4, let me do this way maybe, square root of 4 times the square root of 4 is going to be 16, just simply the square root. 4 times 4 here is 16. If you follow my concept here, you can actually just take that off of there, and 16 equals 16. Same thing we did here. We just simply took what was inside of here and pulled it out. It's x negative 3 equals 16. Okay, so we can just accept this as a fact. When we have the square, when we square this, it's going to be just pulling whatever's inside of the square root out and putting it without the sign. We're at that point. Okay, x negative 3 equals 16. We need to get rid of this negative 3, move it to the other side. It becomes positive 3. So now we have x equals 19. And there's your answer on number 8. Now, wasn't that simple? Was not difficult, huh? Well, don't relax. Number 9. This one's a more complicated here again. 4x negative 5 equals x positive 4. Both of these have square root signs on them. Okay, so how are we going to get rid of the square root signs? We're going to do the same thing. Square it. What we do on one side, we must do on the other. If you remember, whatever's in here, we can pull outside of the square root sign now because we were squaring those in x positive 4. Oops, I'm sorry. That's messed up on that. There we go. So now we have those outside of the square root signs. Combine these now. We have a 4x and an x. Put this on the other side. It's going to become a negative x. That seems to me like that's going to be a 3x. You agree with that? With the negative 5 over here, it becomes a positive 5. Just be careful as you cross the equation, the equal sign, that you change those signs. So now we have 3x equals 9. How do we get rid of the 3? We divide it. X becomes 3. And if you put where x was at, you put 3 back in here, you discover that these are the same. All right, here we go then. I'll tell you what, let's just do that. We said x is 3. I'd like to show you why this is true, why it works. So this is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Negative 5 equals 7. And this is 3 plus 4 equals 7. 7 equals 7. That was number 9. Number 10 becomes a bit more difficult yet. X plus 1 plus x negative 11 equals 0. The first move is to get everything outside of this on the other side, so I'm going to do that. Is x plus 1 equals, move this to the other side, becomes a negative x. Move this to the other side, becomes a positive 11. We have to get rid of this square root sign, so we will square it. And what we do on one side, we must do on the other. Square that. The square of this is pull it outside of the sign, x positive 1 equals this one we must square. And this is where we begin to get into some intense watching your numbers. Squaring this, negative x times negative x is a positive x 2. This is negative x times 11 is a negative 11x. Positive 11 times negative x is a negative 11x. Positive 11 times positive 11 is a positive 121. This becomes x squared negative 22x plus 121. And I'm going to include this now over here with this. Bring it down, x positive 1. Okay, we continue on. We need to get it over here to where this equals 0 so that we are back to the formula that we know how to work where all this equals 0. Put this on the other side. Negative x squared. Here's our negative 22x. Put that on this side. Becomes a positive 22x plus a 1x. That is positive 23x. Put this positive 121 on this side. It becomes a negative 121 plus a 1 is a negative 120. Lots and lots of steps. I'm going to go slow enough so that you can stay with me. Now we have to factor out the negative sign. So it's negative x squared changes this sign, negative 23x changes this sign to a positive 120 equals 0. Again, we continue to factor x and an x. How can two numbers multiplied times each other equal this negative 23? If you get that, you're doing pretty good. I took me a little time. That is going to be a negative 15 and a negative 8. Negative 15 times negative 8 does equal positive 120. And a negative 15 and a negative 8 does equal negative 23. So our possibilities are a positive 15 for x or a positive 8 for x. Now normally we would leave that, but in this case we must check it. Which one will work? So we have to go back up to the original. I'm going to rewrite the original. Right here it is, but it got lots of marks on it, so we'll rewrite the original. X positive 1 square root plus x negative 11 really equals 0. Can you see all of that? We're going to try 15 down here, this positive 15. Put it right here. So if x equals positive 15 plus 1 is a positive 16. Square root of 16 is 4. With me, 15 plus 1 is 16. And the square root of that is 4 plus, again, x is 15. 4 plus 15 is 19. 19 minus 11, does that equal 0? No, it does not. 15 does not work. Take him off. Does 8 work? We sure hope so. X, if that was 8, 8 plus 1 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3 plus 8. 3 plus 8 is 11. Minus 11 equals 0. Bingo! 8 does work. So your final answer is 8 after all of that. And my friends, that's not even the hardest one there yet. So here we go. On number 7. This is the tough one. X squared plus 11 negative 9 equals 0. That's right. Okay, we will just simply put the 9 on the other side. I need to use all my room as carefully as I can here. Okay, so that's going to be a positive 9. You agree with that? Positive 9. Get rid of the square root sign. We put parentheses and square it. What we do on one side, we must do on the other. So if we wanted to rewrite this, I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to take this sign off here. Remember, just simply, if it's squared, we simply can take this off. So we have x squared plus 11 equals 9 squared is an 81. Take this sign, put it on the other side, and this number, put it on the other side. That's a negative 11. We end up with x squared equals, what's the combination of that? 70. Still not true. We don't have what x squared equals 70. This is the reality of it. We can take x equals 70 and put it into the square root sign, and this is true. Now, how can we verify that that is always a fact? Here's what I'm going to try. Let's say that we're going to put, for x, we're going to put a 4. So we're going to say 4 squared equals 16. Is that true? Okay. Now, this is 4 squared, so does one of these 4 equal the square root of 16? Absolutely true. Is that right? That's why this works. X squared equals 70, put it in the square root. Here we did the same thing. One of these, if these x's were 4s, then 4 squared equals 16. This is also true. One of these 4s equals the square root of 16 because the answer to this is 4. That's why this is true. So now we have our answer. X equals the square root of 70. This is also an extra dimension here. It can either be a positive square root of 70, or it can be a negative positive square root of 70. Because a negative times a negative equals a positive, and a positive times a positive equals a positive. So this is your answer. Both a negative and a positive 70. Now that was down through that. Now I have 11 and 12 yet. I was going to go over those. Find the equation of the line. This is from yesterday's lesson. I thought maybe you might still be needing to review this. Negative 3x plus 1. And they are giving us the equation of negative 1 and 2. And it says the parallel. So if we would graph this on this line, then what we're getting ready to solve for, if this line was here, we're going to solve for a parallel line. All it does is changes this position, this number right here, which is called the B position. Okay, in this case we have the ordered pair. This 2 is in the Y position, so we can put this like that, negative 3, and the negative 1 is in the X position right here, so negative 1. And we multiply negative 3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. Add these two together. Bring it back around here. It's going to become a negative 3 as it passes the equal sign. So negative 3 and a positive 2 is a negative 1. Our answer is, we change this number right here to a negative 1. And this is your final answer. Negative 3x, negative 1. That was number 11. Again, that was from yesterday's lesson. Number 12 is from the lesson before that yet. Find the equation of the line that passes through that. Do you remember your formula for number 12? Start off with y2. You were supposed to write this down. You practice it. y2 negative y1. You memorize this. Learn it well. X squared negative, not squared, x2 negative x1. Here are your numbers. 4, 2, and negative 5 and negative 7. You look at these. This is 1 and this is 2. Here's y2 is right here. y2 is negative 7 minus y1 is 2, so it's minus negative 2. It's on the top. On the bottom we do the x's. A negative 5 minus a negative 4 or minus 4, excuse me. So a negative 7 and a negative 2 is a negative 9. Negative 5 and a negative 4 is a negative 9. That equals positive 1. Now we've solved for our y position. Okay, I'm going to erase that. What this is going to be a y equals, that's your slope. Y equals 1, and it's positive, so yx. Now comes the part where we want to solve for this b position again. We're going to go up here and substitute either one of these. These are positives. I just prefer positives, so I'm going to take where the x is at. This is the x position. I'm going to put x, that's going to be 4. And where the y is right here, I'll put a 2. So 1 times 4 is 4. I think you agree with that. And we add these together. So when I put this on this side, that's a positive 4 now. When it comes over here, it's a negative 4 plus a positive 2. It's going to be a negative 2. We've solved for the b position. It's a negative 2. I'll rewrite it. Y equals, we had the 1 is a slope, and a negative 2. Obviously, we can take the 1 off here because it's not necessary. Y equals x, negative 2. Okay, that was the last problem that we're going to do today. If you get stuck on this, give me a call. I'll try to work through some more things there with you. But these last 10 lessons or so, they're going to be tough. You have to put your thinking caps on and get you plenty of sleep. Do your push-ups. And we'll get through this, and we're getting close to the end of the year. Have a good day.